Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com. We're glad that you all could be with us. Also, those joining us through our various affiliates around the world, we're glad you all could be with us, too. Have a great segment coming up with you guys today. We're going to kick things off with speaking with recording artist Jones Monroe about her extraordinary career as far as when it comes to music. She's also celebrating the success of her single, Black. We're going to get into that a little bit and let you all know how to stay connected with Jones as well. Then we have our musical mix featuring our Artist of the Week, Dre Young, his single, Let It Rain. And after that, we have entrepreneur Kelly Casey. She's going to be joining us live today to talk about her extraordinary career and what it's been like for her to bounce back, even with the pandemic and everything in her business, what it's been like for her to do what she loves and to share that with others. Again, it's going to be a great segment today. Glad you all could be with us. As I said, though, we're kicking things off with recording artist Jones Monroe, who's making her first appearance on our program. Jones, thank you so much for the time today. Really appreciate it.
No, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
Hey, the pleasure's definitely all mine. So I want to talk about the year that's been 2021 for you, Jones, because I think I love the fact that so many creative people are actually being able to do what they love to do, and that is to create. You've been able to do that with music like Black. We're going to get more into that. But what has it been like for you, Jones, to be able to do what you love and then to be able to share that with all of us?
Oh, wow. That's just been, to say the least, emotionally healing. You know, I think 2021 and the whole pandemic thing and just all of the current events that have been going on have been so hard on us. And I think all of us have needed outlets for that. So to be able to create music through the pandemic and use a situation that necessarily wasn't a good one, but turn it into a good one has just been such a blessing and emotionally healing.
So talk to us about the avenue, because I think that's the great thing about us as individuals, Jones, is that we all kind of find our thing. I can't sing, I can't dance, I can't rap. That's not my area. This is more my platform. When did you realize that music was your outlet to be able to share your voice with the world?
Oh, wow. I've been singing since I was around 5 or 6, and I grew up singing classical music and opera music. I'm from Charles, Texas, and my grandmother really believed in the arts, and so she put me in classical piano and piano lessons and voice. And so I've always done music. I'm also an entrepreneur. I own an artist development company, so I've always used my voice in the arts. But it's crazy. Whenever the George Floyd situation happened, it created this spark in me, what I like to call an artist spark. And I had these messages of songs that they just had to get out. Like I've been fortunate enough to work with, top pop artists in this industry and in country and rap. And, you have the normal sessions where you go in, you write and create. But every now and then there are those songs that just come out of you and pour out of you. And so whenever that happened, I realized whenever the songs started pouring out of me because of the George Floyd situation, I realized that I had to get this project out.
There's a great video that you have, a great visual that you have with it as well on YouTube. We definitely want our audience to be able to head over there and to watch themselves. But it begins, of course, I think quite poetically, Jones, with us seeing you opening up a book. And that, of course, is, Black, by Jones Monroe. What has that been like for you to be able to see the way now you're able to share that with all of us, to share this creativity and this gift and your feelings about what's happening in the world?
Oh, man, that's amazing. I was so excited to do that visual and really put those things, visually appropriately shared with the world, like to visually appropriately share that, because growing up in Pearl, Texas, every now and then I experience racism. And, my grandmother raising me, coming from that era, it was so hard sometimes to hear her share her stories about, being discriminated against, because I love my grandmother. I'm sure everyone does. And then to also go through that myself. And my grandmother used to actually wait tables at a country club. And so I think it was very, like I said earlier, emotionally healing. We shot that video actually at a country club. they're super, accommodating, super nice, and I think just the feeling of unity there was amazing, and they were part of it. Everyone wanted to join in. They were really supportive, the members there, and it was just it was a great experience. So shout out to Ralph Canono for filming that and directing that.
So I want to talk about one of the things that I took, because the way I first discovered you this year was I had gotten a great news release about the single Black, and when I first saw it on YouTube, the thing that got me, first of all, was, of course, your talent, Jones, but the empowerment aspect of the video. Talk to us about that. I mean, why was that important for you to add, as you were sharing this message, also showed this empowerment, especially for the ladies?
For sure. So the encouragement behind the song, I was at a appointment, and I was walking out, and this young girl comes up to me, and she didn't think that she was pretty. She stops me and she wants to talk to me, and I was like, hi. And then we're talking, and I was like, oh, you're beautiful. And then she goes, no, I'm not. And I was like, yes, you are, dear. And she looked at me like she could never be me. And I realized that in that moment it was super important that we had a song, that we had an anthem that represented young females and just our Black community in general. Now we've overcome these times, but now it's time to honor ourselves and realize that Black is beautiful. All ethnicities are beautiful. We're all beautiful, but I think that we really needed a song for that. And so I think that I was, really excited to be able to share that in the video.
And I think, along with everything else that you're able to show there, it's definitely, I think, important, and the messages, I think, are timely. I have to ask you, though, Jones, does it surprise you, though, as you mentioned a little bit of your own family history, does it surprise you that in 2021 we're still having these same conversations that they've been having now for decades when it comes to race and equality and feeling seen?
For sure. It does surprise me that we are now just having these conversations this openly and this deeply, but I think that in combination with Gen Z and just all the different movements that are going on, I think that we are finally reaching a boiling point of culture acceptance. Right now I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, and I went to a hotel here, and they have just Black art everywhere. Everyone's super, super nice. And last time, I have traveled around the South, it wasn't as much like that. And so I feel so happy that now we're able to have those conversations, and I'm using my next record to finish pushing that narrative of, guys, now it's open. Maybe the wound is open, but now how do we have that healing? We have that healing by saying Black is beautiful. We have that healing by going back to some of the respect that founded us, and the equality and the sharing of love and the sharing of each other and everything that, we've been given.
Right. And I think that's it. And, again, these conversations are so important, and a lot of times it takes an art form like music to be able to open the door for us to have those conversations. I want to say, for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. Excited to welcome recording artist Jones Monroe to our program today. We're talking to Jones not only about the visuals in her single Black, but also what it's been like for her to use her voice and music to be able to share a message and also to share her talent. So I want to step away from that aspect of it for a moment, Jones, and talk about another thing, because as a creative, you've also been able to build a community, both online and offline. What has that been like for you to have people who you've never met kind of want to join this, this movement with you and follow your journey along the way?
Oh, that's been so awesome. Just like all of the fans and the support that I have, everyone is just really accepting. People, I like to consider myself very quirky. I'm truly like a Southern, quirky, down-to-earth person, and just to have people relate to me, relate to the message of just me as an artist. And, my name is Jones Monroe. I'm kind of like a Black gangster Marilyn Monroe. So it's just really cool, just to have all these parties and events, and it's awesome.
How did you find the courage, Jones? I'm sure there are some artists who are listening to this, men and women, but I want to definitely speak for what I'm sure you've been able to do with women. But, again, I do believe all people in the creative community can learn from this. How did you find the courage to just be yourself? Because I think so many times, especially in your industry, there's this thing sometimes about wanting to make someone the next X, Y, or Z. How did you get comfortable enough with yourself and in your skin to just say, I'm just going to be Jones Monroe?
No, for sure. I think the real truthful answer to that question is having a message. Because now it's and then being authentic to that message. Because I feel like you can't have a message unless you are and deliver it well. Kind of like a good Southern preacher, just up there preaching their heart out. And you can't stand behind that unless you have authenticity within yourself. And I accepted, like being from the South, every now and then I would be like, oh, do I have to do this or do that or whatever? But I was like, no, I can be myself. And all of the songs on my upcoming EP are about that. And I found courage through my message. And so now every time I hit the stage, every time I'm in an interview, like I'm not caring what people are thinking because I have something to say.
Yeah, that's right. You have something to say. So you mentioned something earlier, and I kind of referenced it too. But I mean, we're having this conversation like all things are just quote unquote back to normal. However, we're still living with a changed world. How have you adapted to those changes, Jones, as an artist? How have you been able to still connect with your fans while there's still some uncertainty out there in the country?
I feel like I'm as far as moving around with the pandemic and et cetera, I'm being extra safe, extra careful with that. I feel like because of that, there has been with venues closing and things like that, I've had to reach out online, and so I really try to take my fans on a journey through my Instagram stories and just touch base with them. I DM them every day, so whoever wants to reach out to me, I'll make sure I get back with you because I love that personal connection of humanity. And then just with the other things, I feel like that are going on as a result of current events. I feel like it has brought out very real people, and I think that people are being more themselves, and it's easier to talk to them.
Love that. So what should we expect for you? We're now in the last quarter of 2021, Jones. This year is coming to an end really quick. What are you looking forward to as we're wrapping up the year that's been 2021?
Wow, this year has flown by. It's strange. I literally was just wondering where summer went. But and it's almost Halloween. But I'm really excited. I have the remix for the single Black coming out next Friday, October 15th. I'm super excited. Seven the Great. He's an amazing rapper. He has another single on the charts right now. And he joined forces with this because he loved the movement and loved the message. So we're releasing that. We're also going to turn around and release another visual for that, which I'm really excited. Inspired by the Boondocks and Judas and the Black Messiah. Which would be cool. And past that, I have two more singles that I'm releasing this year that are all a accumulation for my EP that drops in January. That is called Soul Cry, because all of the records for this EP are literally cries from my soul, I feel like. So my next single coming up after this is Backbone, which is inspired by my grandma raising me and everyone's grandma. And it's just like trying to get us back to some old-fashioned like respect, which I think is really cool. Everyone loves it. Says it's their workout song. So
wow,
I'm excited.
Well, as someone who's raised by their grandmother, I'm looking forward to that myself. So I will definitely be staying tuned for that. Again, everyone, recording artist Jones Monroe has been our guest. Make sure you guys head over to your favorite online retailer and check out Black. Also, there's a great visual on YouTube I mentioned earlier. Jones, how can our audience stay connected with you?
Most definitely, guys. You can visit me online on all platforms at Love Jones Monroe, or you can check me out on my website at lovejonesmonroe.com.
Love it. Jones, thank you so much for the time today. I really appreciate you stopping by and looking forward to having you come back when the next single drops, okay?
Most definitely. You're amazing. Shout out to everyone in Mississippi.
Thank you. I appreciate that and sending love your way as well. And we thank you all, our audience, for tuning in another great segment of Conversations Live, depending on how you're joining us. If you're joining us on iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast, of course, you'll be able to stay connected with us on those platforms. For those joining us on the radio dial here in Mississippi and through our other streaming services, there is more Conversations Live to come.